You're listening to 1069 Click FM, live in color.
Playoffs indeed, Cornman. Playoffs. They are all around us, and yet it feels like they've barely begun. And then there's all the other sports that we gotta keep track of, but we will not think about that now. For now, we just have to get through a little bit of ass talk, which is what we do on Friday afternoons here, 4 o'clock Central, sifting through the noxious clouds of, let's be honest, sports prognostication to try to find a couple nuggets of truth. I'm your host, Jim B. Thank y'all for being here this afternoon. I am going to talk, yes, about the Detroit Lions, the team that I root for. Hello to True North, Cornman, Logan, MKI, and William. Anybody else who might be hanging out, just not participating in chat, I appreciate you showing up. As well as trying to give an honest appraisal of my team's chances, as well as a fair look at all of the other teams that are going to be playing in what I personally think is the most exciting weekend in the NFL playoffs. The conference title games can sometimes be a real drag, but the divisional ones, I think that's where we get the really crazy stuff going on. I don't think we're getting free t-shirts yet. I mean, we're not even anywhere close to 1,000 subscribers yet. I think you have to get at least like 10 or 20,000 before you start going for free things. I hope you're all having a good day, by the way. It's very cold. We got more snow, so I've been trying to stay in here for as long as possible, hanging out with the cats and just chilling with my sponsor for today, which is Screw City Lager. Like I always say, you never forget your first trip to Screw City, and if you do, then you probably weren't there very long. Well, that is just doubly unfortunate. What MKI just notified us about Tyler Higbee. A torn ACL and MCL after the hit by Kirby Joseph last Saturday. Oh, that is awful. That is awful. I'm sorry, man. But on the very, very bleak side of things, at least it gives you a good reason now to root against the Lions, so we can eventually get that whole new villain of the NFL thing going that all the eventual champions are supposed to get. Yeah, that was a very good way of putting it. It ended 2-1, and for all the flurry back and forth and punching about, nobody ever really got thrown out. But, at least it kept my attention with the back and forth and being able to track the moving objects on the screen. Yeah, I would like that too. I would like that too, Cornman. I don't know about our chances of seeing it. I will get to that a little bit later. First, I do want to start the show, doing well, Luke, thank you, by encouraging you all to reach out to the Minnesota Vikings fan in your life. I know we all have at least one. It's how we, like to portray ourselves as, sympathetic and, a caring person. I'm not that horrible. I have a friend who's a Vikings fan. And MKI told me in the chat before the show about the whole, Belichick ongoing coaching drama. Where is he going to go? He went to dinner. Where did he eat? And And apparently, Kirk Cousins' name has become involved in this particular little coaching search. Look around, Cord Man. They may be hiding. And you dropped a couple of lines per article in Bleacher Report about how Cousins said, he wouldn't turn down an opportunity to play with Belichick. That's a perfectly reasonable thing for a quarterback to say. An opportunity to play for a coach who's had that much success. Mm-hmm. That's right, Corn Man. We do have one. He might be hiding at the moment because he usually figures out when I'm talking in the other room, that's the opportunity to go somewhere and be very, very quiet, or pretend to not be here, lest I bring him in here for embarrassment. So, this year was already rough enough for the Eagles fans with the injuries, especially the Kirk Cousins, which derailed their season and put them on a super fast QB carousel. And now they have to deal with the looming specter of free agency for one Mr. Kirk Cousins. And, yeah. I know that sometimes all they really have is the ability to mock other teams for the QB horrors and nightmares that they may go through, be they on the field or on someone's podcast. But, maybe it's time to break the cycle of back and forth and just let them know, hey, we understand what you're going through. It's cool, man. This too will pass. And at least he's not saying dumb things about vaccinations. And oh boy, if Kirk Cousins is a Falcon, yeah. I'm always secretly rooting for the Falcons to do well and for one day for them to win the Super Bowl, but yeah. They're another fan base that I have to worry about because it feels like they are about to get mired in mediocrity for a while in a desperate attempt to become a good team. And I'm only wondering if there's going to be another team's building style that they just might try to copy. For a while it was, we got to copy the Patriots, and then we got to copy the Chiefs, and who knows, maybe there'll be maybe if we make it very far in the playoffs this year, it'll be an effort to copy the Detroit Lions. Who knows? We can't exactly copy the Green Bay Packers because no one wants to be accused of being a communist. But, original thought is kind of at a premium when it comes to professional sports. And I just hope that whoever the ownership ends up bringing in this time, that they actually, take their time, try to build something instead of, going for the big splash all at once. Because then you end up like Buccaneers fans who just end up on the constant up and down roller coaster. No one wants that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is actually something I am curious about. Cornman, I wanted to ask about the state of your offensive line. Is it completely healthy? Are there any weak spots that a Niners fan would be concerned about? Yeah, you learn pretty quickly that the people who are willing to let you copy homework, they're either doing it because they didn't have to originally write it themselves or they're dumb enough. Yeah, maybe not the 49ers. Maybe not the 49ers. Mhm. Yeah, Tomlin is never going to leave. Pittsburgh is stuck with him. dude is going to be coaching until he's 70 and threatening to cut off people's eyelids even 5 years after he retires. Trent Williams is back. Don't know if completely healthy, but healthy enough. Okay, I did remember seeing his name on the injury report, but he was also in one of those spaces on the injury report where it's not out or questionable. They just put a hyphen, which could mean probable to definitely, but they never ever really say that until just right before the game. So this is the best that we do until, Tomlin will coach until 2050. Oof. Healthy enough may not be enough to stop Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith. May not. Oh. Trent Williams practicing since last week. Get a full. While Corman is looking for a full update, I can go to the other sports things that were on my mind. Logan, you can help me with this. I did recognize Josh Hader. He apparently signed a big contract with the Astros today, 5 years, $95 million. I saw when I looked him up that he had a Milwaukee jersey on. Apparently, he played for you guys for 6 seasons. So I gotta imagine he's at least been on your radar a little bit. At this point in his career, would you consider that a good price for him as a closer? Yeah, you got to make Purdy feel some pressure, or else he will just find all of his weapons back there. No, I was actually busy not looking at sports stuff until about 90 minutes before I was about to go onto the air, just researching the stuff that I was curious about. Was it them saying something stupid about an athlete, a group of people, or somebody in a position of power? Because I'd like to narrow down how angry I should be at the dumbass on ESPN Milwaukee. Oh yeah, no, I don't doubt that Kenny Clark is gonna feast. You all ended up. Let me actually go back and check the stats for the Dallas Green Bay game. Just because, for my own curiosity, I'm curious. Oh yeah, you guys ended up feasting against the Cowboys last week. Gave them 4 sacks, and you didn't allow any. Some dipshit saying we should look to injure Purdy and Bosa tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, bless their pointy little hearts. The 49ers O-line is fully healthy and ready to go, says Corman. Only injury to that area was Clinton Farrell. All right. Oh, sorry, Sealton Farrell. Sometimes the eyes, when I'm reading them on the screen, are a little bit close together as far as like the little line in the dot. But he's mainly a backup. I didn't know that the draft was so close. True North. How about this? I won't cover it this year because I would probably want to take it in and get used to the flow and the rhythm of it before I, decide to make myself look like too much of a fool talking about it. But I am going to be covering the CFL from, season start all the way through season end. And I'll try to keep up with news as best I can for, player comings and goings and hirings. Is that a fair compromise? I hope so. Ah, used to be a player until he was arrested for being a terrible person. Awesome. Well, that definitely seems like a voice of moral authority. Ooh. So, yes, like I was saying, you know, give a shout out to any Vikings fans that you may know because they might be going through it this off season, and you can take a little bit of that focus away from the Raiders fans because they apparently hired Antonio Pierce to be the head coach next year, like the players were kind of demanding very publicly, really. And yeah, once in a while, Mark Davis just gets things right. I mean, he did have the sense to fire Josh McDaniels partway through the season, so we can't be too hard on him. Oh, Greenlaw could be a game time decision. I was curious about that. I had taken an opportunity to look up the injury reports, and there are a lot of hyphens, so I'm assuming most of those players on the 49ers list are going to be either probable or definitely. But yeah, Drake Greenlaw still listed as questionable for an Achilles injury. Ooh, yeah. Well, hmm. CFL draft, only 72 players, only one night. Oh, well. Is there at least like one of those weirdo lotto ball systems that they have? They also hired him in the first place. Great. Well, I guess I'm looking also at the Green Bay Packers injury list, by the way, and the only ones with actual words by them, aside from all the hyphens, so I assume those players will be fine and ready to go, are Jair Alexander, A.J. Dillon, Isaiah McDuffie, and Danielle Whalen. Meanwhile, we have Kingsley and Igbare, who is a linebacker listed as definitely out with a knee injury. So, if there have been anything in your little media circles about further updates for those questionable players, please feel free to throw them my way. Oh, those were those guys, Logan? Those dickheads? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good enough reason to not only ignore them, but to just never acknowledge anything they do or say ever again. They just seem like professional provocateurs instead of people actually unwilling to offer in-depth analysis or ask important questions about things. So, oof. All right. All right, Birmingham finally figured it out. Fire Rooney, do better. Good job. We were bothering Grossi and others asking them if they missed Rogers. Ugh. The guys at Nothing But Niners in the Rain Brezzy show were pissed that they said that. I mean, yeah, I think there was. I have to believe there was a certain point during the Rogers escapade. I refuse to call it saga because that would grant it more importance than it deserves. Um, but during the escapade, there was just a general sense of our sympathies going through the Packers fans because then I mean, he was embarrassing himself enough, but then they had to, just stand back and be associated with this guy publicly embarrassing himself on a pretty regular basis. So, you I feel like that goodwill has carried over from after Aaron Rodgers' departure, and people like this just going and trying to rub it in, you know, for all the great people that I've met at Packers games, even going in as an admitted stranger and wearing a Lions jersey, I've got nothing but respect and welcome from Packers fans up in the Lambeau area. So I don't see any point for going over and being antagonistic. That's just shitty behavior. Oh, it's a torn ACL. Ah, I gotcha. And Birmingham plays tomorrow against a team they have a good record against, despite obviously losing to them under Rooney. Ugh. All right, well, best of luck to them tomorrow. Ah, yeah. Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. That damn game. It feels like it feels like it's one of those games that a lot of people are going to hype up, but then it's just going to be like a defensive slog and running back exchange for like 3 quarters, and then suddenly it's going to become an air raid for the last 14 minutes and 58 seconds. So, yeah, I still think the Chiefs win, but I give the Buffalo Bills a good chance of getting the upset as long as they end the game with the ball. Don't give Patrick Mahomes the ball back. You have no faith in the Bills? No. I'm still willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. In the back of my mind, True North, I always think about how many seasons and how it took for John Elway to get those damn championships with the Broncos. All those disappointing years. Like for a while, John Elway on the Broncos was the picture, the poster child for futility in football. You know, no matter, how hard he tried, how many times he put his body on the line, the infamous helicopter at the end zone spin after the hit that would make it into, all those great highlight replay compilations of classic moments of the National Football League. I think a lot of people forget how much football fans celebrated when John Elway finally got that monkey off his back and won the damn Lombardi. So when uh, when I see Josh Allen with the Bills and how people are expecting have the same sense of expectations for him that they do for Patrick Mahomes, who somehow lucked into a great situation with Andy Reid. You know, I just think of John Elway and how sometimes it takes a while to get that winning combination in there. Honestly, I True North, I think he might be taking that to get ESPN off his back and not get his show taken off the air. But hey, that's just me. I'm kind of an awful person. A Packers Lions game and a Texans Bills game. I think a Packers Lions game is possible, but not very probable. And here's why I say why. Packers, yes, y'all have a chance of beating the Niners. And yes, the Niners have been rested, and you feel like you compete with them very well. I think the difference is going to be whether Jordan Love plays well, minimizes mistakes, and is able to use his mobility not only to escape the pressure from the pocket, but also gain yardage when it is necessary to. Because I have the feeling that the 49ers are going to try to throw everything they can at this, you know, first year, fourth year quarterback who, as amazing as last week was against the Cowboys, and on Cowboys, I'm still not talking to you until you get your shit figured out. As amazing as that lopsided game was against the Cowboys, yeah, this is still pretty respected as a tough team and one that the Packers have had issue with in the playoffs before. And, I don't want to, and I'm not willing to ignore that. The difference this year, as opposed to past year, is once again Jordan Love. I think if he could do well, not turn the ball over, not make terrible throws, I think that will give the Packers the best chance to win. Yeah, I also kind of don't listen to what Pat McAfee has to say. I don't listen to his show, True North, so he could. Meanwhile, both Gabe Davies and Taylor Rapp have been ruled out for the Bills against the Chiefs. Ooh. Well, yeah. Rain tomorrow in Santa Clara. That should be a fun game. 49ers and Packers would do fantastic in a, run-centric, muddy, slippery ground game. If you lose tomorrow, you expect it's Bills Mafia all this way this time? All right, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be a tale of, I think, your secondary True North. Considering the different weapons, Christian McCaffrey, in and out of the backfield, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. I will. I know I've seen your defense do good things before. I just hope that is enough against a team whose names I can recite off the top of my head because they have been told to me over and over in all of the highlight reels of those teams' victories this season. So even though I don't get to watch the games, that's how I know those players are making an impact. Yeah. I'm very glad that I don't think my game is on Peacock, is it? Oh no, don't tell me it is. Lions, Bears, please, please, please. Okay, just on NBC. Okay, good, fine, wonderful. Oh, you got it on Fox. Oh, great. Awesome. Oh. Matt LaFleur struggles against his coaching buddies? Seriously? Well, let's hope it's a little different this time. Oh, I figured that out after a second, Cornman. All right. Now, just because I want to put this off as long as possible, Texans and Ravens. It was already mentioned that Mark Andrews is going to be inactive. He was not going to be playing this weekend. He was listed questionable on the generic injury report, as well as Devin Duvernay, Delshon Phillips, and Ardarius Washington. Meanwhile, of course, the Houston Strouds just need to protect Stroud, and everything will be okay. No, I wouldn't dare sleep on the Milwaukee Bucks, True North. Tell me a little bit about Murray, Logan. What could he bring bring to the Bucks? Like, how would he fit into the current scheme that they've got going? Oh, goodness. Ravens, Texans. Like, this is the one I think of all the games this weekend, this is the one that has the best possibility of ending up close. I mean, last weekend, Rams-Lions was the only close game, the 24-23 score. Everything else was so lopsided. Even as the games were proceeding, you could tell it was just the equivalent of stop, stop, he's already dead for a majority of those contests. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't. And well, let's take a look at. All right, as far as their injury list, there, unless there's others I'm not seeing, there's only one corner, and that's Marlon Humphrey, who is listed as out for a calf injury. Everybody else is linebackers. I'm not sure what SAF means, but it doesn't appear as many other people in the secondary are affected. So, oh yeah, so he can. He's also the one true north that most people depend on for a ride if they got to go a little bit further or pick up something for their parents. That's been left at the front desk for them. All others were over by the fourth. Oof. Oh, Logan has answered. Defense and three-point shooting. Cool. Nice job. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is for, Texans fans, just ride the wave. You beat everybody's expectations out for how you were supposed to do this season. Enjoy the game. And I kind of still think that the Ravens are going to win, but that's only because I worry about how the Texans' offensive line will be able to protect Stroud. He's always had to do a bit of running, but the Ravens' defense, I fear, is one that could catch him. They can be scary. Is there anything else that I want to cover before we get to the one that everyone's coming to hear? Or at least I would assume, because if I had an opportunity to listen to someone eat their words about their own football team, I'd want to take that too. Over under 1.5 trick plays by the Packers tomorrow against the 49ers. I usually define trick play by those plays where 2 seconds in, the crowd goes a little bit bonkers because they realize, oh shit, something non-standard is happening. And they just want it all to work out. It's like, please let this one work out so we can, have some variety. We already heard Scooter get absolutely shredded by Grossi. Yeah, I kind of figured that was what was going to happen yesterday on Clickbait, especially considering, the latest iteration of the Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl winning team. But yeah, the Lions and Buccaneers. Oh, I haven't touched the basketball and the hockey as I've always thought that I should. Once again, congratulations on the OK City Thunder for for climbing their way up to second in the Western Conference of the NBA. Uh, I'm I'm uh, sad but not surprised to see that the Los Angeles Lakers are currently hanging on the edge of the wild card. They'll still have to play in for the playoffs if they want to actually, feel like real participants. But at least they're not where the Golden State Warriors are, which is 12th in the entire conference. Oh man. Meanwhile, uh, the Washington Capitals just can't stop, trying to drag me back in because they've climbed back up to fourth in their division. So, yeah, I guess that's the kind of season I'm going to have. Winnipeg Jets are trying to sneak away with the number one seed out of nowhere somehow. And, yeah, I'm just having too much fun keeping track of the hockey this season, especially realizing how little how little some teams work on actually getting better. And I think a few of you know which team I'm thinking of, but that'll be that'll be a talk for another day. For now, the Lions. One of the things that is making me optimistic for the Lions game this weekend is that James Houston has finally been activated from the injured reserve and put on the active roster. We had to cut Julian Okwara to do it. It's unfortunate. I appreciate all the time and sweat that he put in with us while he was here. Hopefully we'll be able to bring him back, but just for getting him back for the playoffs. For those of you who weren't paying attention last year, James Houston was a guy who came out of nowhere and became this random just sack mercenary that Campbell wouldn't use him all the time, but he would put him in on specific plays to get quarterback pressure, and he was just unstoppable. Got injured early in the season. We weren't able to take advantage of his talents in the same way, and now there's a good chance he'll be playing on Sunday. That was fantastic. Once again, because of the things that often scare me about the Lions, which, as regular viewers will know, is, our secondary, and, our secondary, and the possibility that Kirby Joseph might actually kill someone on the field, but, minor details. Let's not bicker and argue about who injured who. Yeah. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, they still frighten me. And Baker Mayfield, for all the crap that he's had to deal with in this league, from having to drag teams out of the doldrums, getting hung out to dry by ownership and coaching, getting put in bad situations, and then finally being welcomed with a band of pirates to try to restart his life. He is playing injured in the playoffs with ribs and ankle injury and still managing to hang on. And I know how the Eagles had been falling apart at the end of the season, and I took that into account for the Buccaneers game, but just the thorough domination that I witnessed from Tampa Bay over just over a team that had just gone to the Super Bowl the previous year and now had just been brought low, 32-9. You expect me to mention my secondary? Oh, I forgot. Another thing that scares me about my team, my secondary. Can the Lions go into a Super Bowl? Yes, they technically can. Now, I refreshed myself about what happened with us earlier in the season, as far as the Lions and the Buccaneers go. And we had defeated them. I believe the score was 20-6. It was a bit of a lopsided victory, but they kept us from going down and absolutely running the score up on them. We were able to hold them, which I was shocked and stunned by. But yeah, I don't know if I'm confident in that happening again. And once again, for this, I go back to the injury report. And looking at it, yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chase Edmonds and Shaquille Barrett are the only two listed as questionable. Everybody else has hyphens except for John Wolford, who I'm assuming has leprosy. And that tells me, by weirdo backwards process of elimination, that their O-line is healthy and we are going to need all the help we can from James Houston to get pressure on Baker Mayfield so that he's less than successful with two absolutely money receivers in his pocket. 8 QBs in the playoffs from worst to best, in my opinion. All right, let's take a look at the divisional round. All right. Can you give me a couple days to think about this, Cordman, so that I can make a, actually coherent and well thought out list for when I share it? Because I know that thinking about it right now, I can't do it very well off the top of my head. So I'll hold that until the Lions game this weekend. But thank you for the suggestion. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, will their cars be upgraded? All right, I have mentioned it before. The Lions bandwagon is being towed by a Ford Pinto because we've kind of forgot to fix the engine in the bandwagon, so it can't really pull a lot of people at the moment. I'll put it down to 4 QBs for the next Ass Talk. Don't worry. And don't worry, MKI. Everybody forgets about John Wolford. But he comes up once again to remind us, don't give up. My list won't quite be the same as True North's in the comments. Jordan Love might be in a different spot or two, but he will, I promise, still be on the list. Almost like you're right about Philly all along. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I was kind of ignoring Philly. I was treating them like the Boston Bruins of, it's the Eagles, they'll be fine. They didn't change the team much, but apparently more was going on than I thought. So yeah, right now the popular lines have the Lions as 6.5, 6.5 point favorites over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And for as steady as our run defense has been able to be, we managed to keep Kyren Williams pretty grounded last week. I could still very easily see us losing this game on just one or two absolute bombs down the field, and Baker Mayfield seems like the kind of QB who would just any moment, I expect him to absolutely launch one to our 35-yard line right to Chris Godwin. So if I got to give a score prediction, I will say Lions 20, Buccaneers 17. That said, I think Tampa Bay can still very easily win the game. But, well, we'll see how it all shakes out this weekend. I'm hopeful, but I'm not walking away with a win just yet. As well, best of luck to all the teams this weekend, and let's hope that nothing else horrific happens on the field. Please, just, for us, as a favor. You think 32-24? Honestly, Logan, the way that the Packers 49ers games have gone in prior years, I think it will be optimistic to get 13-10. But that's just me. I'm sure that there will be plenty of fun, chaos, and nonsense abounds, as there usually is whenever the Packers and 49ers play. Or at least, we can hope as much. But that is going to do it for today. I'm officially out of things to talk about and say as far as the sports world. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to be back tomorrow for NCAA women's basketball, Illinois, Maryland. The Illini were kicked out of the NCAA and I think the Big Ten tournament last year by the Terps. Can they get a measure of revenge? We will see. It's at noon Central tomorrow. I'm Jim B on 106.9 Click FM. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, and good night, Milwaukee, wherever you are.